Alright, we're going to play a round of user-submitted Guess the Elo. This one's a little different. I already know what the rating is. It's up to you to see if you can figure it out. Let's go ahead and dive into the game. Here we have black as our subscriber and white as their opponent. So let's see how the game started. We have the ready opening. So we have knight to f3 here. And then countering back, taking the center. Nothing wrong with this so far. Very even, no dramatic mistakes here. And now we've got d4. I don't love the move d4 here. It really kind of fixes the center. If you're going to play a move like knight f3, it might be better to be a little bit more flexible for a few more moves. But definitely still a very even position. Knight c3, c6 here. Not a terrible move. Kind of put some pressure here. The knight's not going to be able to go too far, but there are two defenders and one attacking piece. But nice flexible move, developing the pieces towards the center. e3 looks fine. You've opened up the long diagonal here for the bishop, preparing the castle in a couple of moves. So let's see, how does black respond? Black responds by going pawn to f6. Now, I don't love pawn to f6 here. It takes away the square that the knight usually wants to go to. Usually we want to bring the knight here. It also weakens this side of the board where we would want a castle. So I'm not loving that move, but it's probably going to get followed up by the center push here, and maybe they'll end up being able to castle on the long. So I don't think it's a huge mistake. Might just be a preference in style. So let's keep going. We've got bishop to b5 here. Here, bishop to b5, putting pressure on the knight. The knight's not going to be able to go anywhere. We kind of have a weird modified Spanish game. So let's see how this is going to progress. Alright, so moving the bishop, that way the pawn structure isn't going to be messed up too badly. Again, I'm thinking probably going to end up castling on the long. Okay, so that move, I don't know what that move accomplished. So a4 protects the bishop, but I would have thought castling would have been an option, or maybe like moving the knight out or trying to get your bishop more active. a4 protects the bishop on b5, but a move like a6 is still going to kick that bishop. So I don't really know what a4 was doing. Let's kind of continue forward then. There you go, following the plan. Big push in the center. Frees up this bishop to get somewhere. Gives the knight a square to go to. Gives the queen a square to go to so that we might be able to castle. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that move, and the position is pretty even, I think, at this point. So black did a nice job of equalizing. Okay, so this, not a move I would have played, bringing your queen out so early. It's not giving any direct threats anywhere. It's not threatening the capture. Overprotecting the bishop. Again, the bishop's still going to have to move if you attack it. So this queen move really not doing a whole lot here. I think better would have been to castle, or bring your knight out, or even consider trying to support a pawn push, or maybe release the pressure here and capture. So lots of ideas. I do not like our queen to d3 here. Good. Walked right into a pin. So now attacking the queen and the knight. Something's got to move, probably the queen. And white is instantly going to be down some material. Really? Really? How? I don't know how you leave your queen hanging. So the knight came over. Um, is there a threat here that I'm missing? There's no checks. I think they saved the wrong piece. That is an absolute blunder in my book. Um, so lost the queen, huge blunder. So let's see black's technique in finishing this. So captured the queen. All right, so I don't love this move either. When you're down material, you want to preserve as much material as possible. Otherwise, as you start trading down, you're weakening your position. You're giving that material advantage even more power. So by capturing here the knight, it's just continuing to increase the power of the queen as we head into an endgame. So taking back, I think that's absolutely fine. Pawn structure is still intact. Absolutely, I think that was a reasonable move. So, white capturing the pawn, obviously, they couldn't allow us to capture here on c2, so that sounds quite reasonable. And so, black is definitely the stronger side and is starting to push some pawns to gain some space. Black is definitely behind in development, or I guess even on development. Both sides have developed fairly slowly here. So let's see, we go attack the knight. The knight comes over. Still not a whole lot of threats going on. This square is covered by the knight and the bishop. This are all covered by the bishop. So in reality, that knight is very stuck. Queen comes out to attack it. There you go. We just said the knight was stuck, so attacking it's not a bad idea. Take a free pawn. Queen and the bishop were supporting it, so we can take a free pawn there. I don't see any problem with that. That seems fine. Slowly increasing the advantage. Now white is going to go ahead and castle here. Honestly, his pawns were all in the center. I almost think he would have been better off staying in the center and trying to push the pawns to try and get some counterplay. Alright, so we've got the knight attacked by the bishop. That would be an exchange, which is, again, good for black, being the side with a material advantage, or just winning a free pawn. So let's see, how does white respond? Saves the knight. Loses the pawn, yes, yep, takes the free pawn. Again, black is already up material. And so, again, black is already up material. So, continuing to grab the pawns and start to build an attack is the absolute right idea. So, rook was attacked, move it to a safe square, getting off the light squares since the bishop is currently very active. Trading here, absolutely fine, winning a pawn. Queen is getting into the king side, starting to pressure an attack. Rook comes back over, guarding the f2 square. I think white needed to do something more active. That's protecting a pawn that was already protected. Black is really probably going to end up targeting the h2 pawn, because we have the bishop that can come here and then attack h2, and then the queen coming in attacking h2. That's going to be a hard threat to answer. So let's see what ends up happening here. So the knight comes over. I think that's fine. I don't think that's losing anything, but I think the bishop would have been a better idea. So then we've got f4, trying to open things up, get a counterattack going. Open lines kind of help black, though, so Interesting. Okay. So the knight comes over again, targeting this h2 square. Maybe the e3 pawn here. Couple of ideas there. So now the queen is attacked. So let's see, which way does he recapture? They recapture. Oh, interesting. They did not recapture. So I wonder what they were thinking, why they didn't just take on g5 here. Taking on g5, and then you've got a discovered check. You could win the rook. Yeah, I think the capture here was a better idea. Maybe they were a little afraid of this idea of the pawn moving and the knight getting moved. So this bishop ends up eyeing this square, but it just takes too long for white to get those pieces coordinated. Definitely doesn't amount to a real threat. So I think they just made a minor mistake. Yeah. Playing ghosts. We all do it sometimes. So black is definitely still dramatically winning. White is fighting on, trying to kick the knight, knowing that the knight is going to be instrumental in the attack. The only safe square that the knight can go is right here. So this is the only square that the knight can go to, and it happens to win a pawn and threaten the rook. So it's not a bad idea. Black goes for it. Alright, so the rook comes up to attack. How's this gonna finish? So what black could just take the pawn with check. That would be pretty devastating. Oh, so they retreat. So right here, I like this idea. So taking here, check, and then if they do something like this, then it's check. The only square they can go to is here, and then you've got mate. If they bring the king to either of these two squares, it's mate. We just bring that down, and that would be mate. If they do, so the only way for it not to be mate would be to come here to king f2. Let's see, what's the follow-up? Now looking at knight c2, and you still have your advantage, but the king is no longer on that back rank quite as safe. So looking here, tax the rook, nothing wrong with that. This is still available. This rook is sitting here kind of in the middle. Might give check at some point once this knight moves. Let's see. Alright. Oh. So they moved the rook, but didn't move the rook far enough. They actually walked into dropping this piece two different ways. So absolutely a blunder there. So it looks like the second big blunder from white. So capturing with the knight, recaptures with the pawn, capturing. Here I would have preferred taking with the tempo, but I don't think that's too bad of an issue. Let's see, let's keep going here. Rook's attacking the pawn. The hard thing is this bishop is completely out of it. This knight is completely out of it. Also, these two rooks here have been completely inactive this whole game. So I would have liked to have seen those brought into play a little earlier. So the queen comes down, attacks the bishop. No real way to protect it. also attacks the knight if there was a way to protect it. You also have a check here on d1, but because there's no other pieces, the mate is going to be a little further out. So, knight comes over, bishop is free, and there's your third blunder. So the queen here is still hitting that square, and so white missed the fact that black was still defending it. So queen takes it, at which point white resigns down to just a knight. So overall impressions, the opening wasn't bad. It was fairly even. And then white made some minor mistakes and then blundered heavily. So if we go back here, and we'll just replay this. So we had a quick game here, developing, putting some pressure. Then white started making some minor mistakes and then blundered. And we just saw that blunder, and then continued to play suboptimal moves. So black definitely played a solid game. White was making several mistakes. I think there was probably some more accurate moves that black could have played, but once you're up a queen, you've got the liberty to kind of do whatever you want. So, trading everything down, still pushing, still attacking. Black is attacking this whole time, and here we had the resignation. Down in the chat, I want you to post what you think the average rating of these two players is. Is it 200? Is it 2200? Is it 1000? Or is it 3000? What do you think? Where is the average rating for these two players? So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds. Pause the video if you haven't already. I gave you plenty of time. The average rating of these players was 435. If you found anything useful in this game, please like and subscribe. Give a share. Or better yet, submit your game for Guess the Elo. Please remember to remove the identifying information when you submit. I'll put a link in the description so that you can submit your own games, so that I can analyze it and we can play Guess the Elo in the future. So, thank you. Have an amazing day. Hope to see you soon.